If you're familiar with game theory or film theory, food theory, MattPat, the host of all those YouTube channels, and officially announced yesterday that he will be stepping down from YouTube, retiring. And this is an interesting topic that I wanted to touch on because it seems like already into this year, there's a lot of my favorite content creators, whether they're big, small, prominent, not so relevant, they're all making some adjustments with the whole world of content creation. And this is something that I wanted to talk on. So this is not exactly a gaming video. It's related to it because MattPat had the Game Theory channel, which over a decade ago was freaking phenomenal. A decade of content that was just banger after banger. If you watched his Five Nights at Freddy's theory videos and just all the interesting content that him and his team were able to develop together throughout the years. And I even met him back a few years back. I met MattPat at Retropalooza. He was a guest. I'll touch on that in a little bit. But I wanted to talk on the whole topic of content creators stepping down, whether it's retiring or changing their content or going, I guess part-time. There's a lot that goes into making decisions like that. And often at times, it can be quite scary, quite nerve-wracking for the creator. So if you're just like a casual YouTube video and you don't care to hear about things like algorithms or YouTubers that aren't making as much ad revenue or whatever the excuse is that kind of turns you away from that, I'm going to apologize, but this is something that is actually really interesting to me because I've been making videos for the most part for, I would say, maybe 14 years or so. I've lost count. I'm by no means some huge success. In fact, I have no idea what I'm doing half of the time. I was self-taught. I learned how to barely able to edit any of my videos with everything from my first thing that I used to edit with was Windows Movie Maker. And then after that, I had some kind of thing of Vegas. And then I learned Final Cut Pro. And now I'm using CapCut. So it's a constant evolution as far as like making content. And and I'm not comparing myself by any means to somebody like MattPat. Again, I know there's going to be people that think, how are you comparing yourself to Matt? No, MattPat was wildly successful. I think he had over 18 million subscribers on his channels. I don't even know combined, but yeah, when you have a certain, I guess there's like a line, there's vloggers, there's content creators like myself, and then there's people who put full out productions, like people that hire staff, they get a set, they have like a production team, they have a freaking team that produces what is like a near TV quality production. Me, on the other hand, I'm somebody that's filming it in their game room, sitting in front of a computer. If I do edit a video, it's barely done. So the burnout is not exactly the same. Mentally, maybe, because you put a lot of hours into this, whether you believe it or not, spending time streaming, spending time editing, spending time going to conventions, spending time on social media. There's a lot that builds up to it. But my, I guess, return of investment isn't as big as somebody's like a MattPat by any means at all. But when somebody does YouTube, they come onto this platform wanting to have a way to create, to put their voice out there, to put ideas and thoughts and theories out there. And when you start to build a fan base or a viewer base, it gets really exciting and you get a way to express yourself, and that's the whole original idea of YouTube. So when you see big, huge, prominent people that you've even looked up to, which MattPat was one of the people that I looked up to, it gets kind of it gets somber, like a little bittersweet. So he did make his video yesterday saying why he's leaving, and this was like the best year of game theory ever. Like literally, he's quitting on top right now. He basically came down to saying he felt tired after working nonstop for over a decade, that he wanted to spend more time with his family, which is reasonable. He's still a young gentleman, right? Whether people think whatever age he is quite old, he's still a young gentleman. And when you start to play video games for work, it tends to be like a grind. Like you start to kind of have difficulty doing a work-life balance, even at a lower state. Like if you're a streamer or somebody like myself that makes videos, you're playing video games to review, you're playing video games to live stream, and then when you have your free time, it almost feels like you're working because you're playing video games. And whenever I'm playing games off stream or not recording video, I'm like, man, I could be recording this, gameplay to make a video out of it. And it's hard to shut off that work grind. And I say work, but you know what I mean. It's this grind where you feel like you need to produce something, that it's hard to sit still. It's hard to have a day that you're not trying to make something, no matter how big or how well edited the content is. It's hard to get out of that work-life balance, especially when you're doing stuff from home. If you're sleeping and playing video games and editing in the same room, you're in the area that you work in. So that work-life balance is pretty tough. And that's like it with remote jobs, where people that have remote jobs for office jobs, they're working at home. It's hard to shut it off, which is why a lot of people prefer to have a location that they go to, or a location that's separate, that they actually have to like transport to or walk to elsewhere, like in their household, things like that. But I could get where MatPat's coming, saying that he wants to play video games for fun and not worry about making videos. Because lots of times I'll get asked, hey, did you get a chance to play this game yet? Did you get a chance to that? Have you continued to play this game? Because I'll stream a game like a couple times and then I won't go back to it on stream. And often at times it's because I'm playing something else or I'm working on another video that I can't go back to the game, and it adds to the backlog. And then it's like, well, I could choose to not stream. I could choose to not make a video for the day, and I could go and play that game on its own. But I would rather make something for no matter how many people watch, whether it's 100 people or 1,000 or whatever. I would rather make something for that. It's that way of like, you have to get your brain a work-life balance like situated, and it's real tough. It's something that I've always had a tough time with. Like, I constantly feel like I'm messing up if I don't post something out there, because you're getting told that there's an algorithm and that it moves on, and that it, if you don't produce it, eventually, other people hoard it, and you hear all this stuff. So I could see where MatPat's coming with that whole wanting to have a family life and play games without having to worry about feeding into some kind of system or making some content with it. I definitely can relate to that. And his content is heads and shoulders above. Like I said, turning on a camera, just talking or just playing a video game is nothing compared to a production that has scripting, research, a well-written train of thought put into some of those theory videos. And then he also has a team working behind it and editing it and producing it. So it's constant, talking to people. And on top of that, he's had several opportunities to host like award shows and other types of events. He's a prominent figure in, I guess, nerd and pop culture. So he's been nonstop compared to most people. And, YouTubers, MatPat included, a lot of them face YouTube burnout, especially at the start of the years, because you get, the ad revenue and the ad rates are good, October, November, December, and then January hits. And a lot of people tend to take like a month break off. I don't know if you guys have noticed. A lot of content creators will take a month off because they feel that it's like a good refresh, and also their ad rates aren't as huge and they don't want to burn themselves out. But there's other things to burnout. Eventually, a hobby, like even if YouTube is a hobby for you, if you do it too much, if you do too much of the same thing, it starts to feel like it's too much work. No matter how big or small it is, it's like, really, I got to get up and research something or stream something. And after a while, it starts to not feel like, like I've been guilty about it before too. Like when I'm covering topics or I'm making a video about something, that I feel like I'm doing it just to fucking do it, to feed some kind of algorithm, instead of doing it for the passion or doing it because it's something I want to talk about. And a lot of creators start to feel tired because you're having to try to come up with these new ideas and this stuff that you might not even care about. You might be like, oh, really? I got to cover this trending news topic because you got to be the first one to feed it. That way the watch time and all this comes. And, honestly, it's super important to know when you're able to like get early onsets of being burnt out. It happened to me this year, mostly because YouTube striked my channel for excessive nudity and violence and stuff when I covered a topic of a female streamer. She got assaulted in real life during a live stream, and YouTube basically essentially striked me and killed whatever momentum I had a few months ago, to where I felt like, you know what, I need to take a step back. I need to kind of chill and just relax a little bit. Now that the new year started, I'm trying to do a little bit more of a slower work-life balance. For example, I'm trying to give myself the weekends off, and then I'm trying to only stream Tuesday, Thursdays, and the rest is just me chilling and making clips out of the content that I have and just kind of relaxing a little bit, not trying to worry too much. So I could see what is going on with that. And it's important to understand when you're feeling burnt out or when you're tired. No, regardless of what the reason is. You could be doing too much output. You could be doing, it could be affecting your family life. It could be affecting your mental health. Everybody's different. Everybody's story and journey is completely different. Now, MattPat leaving is definitely going to leave a big hole. Again, I said I met him several years ago at Retropalooza. I thought he was an amazing guy. He was really talkative, real chatty, friendly, was willing to talk about people's YouTube channels and go over them and just briefly glance and listen to people's opinions on the platform and everything. I think this was back like in 2015, 2014, somewhere around there. Awesome dude. Just very charismatic, friendly, infectious smile. He got along with everybody. He treated everybody like he knew them for years. And, I think, he's definitely going to leave a hole out there because his content felt like it was something that was a little bit different than what most people have out there. But there's a bigger change on YouTube, if you haven't noticed, for better or for worse. There's guys that are leaving by choice. There's guys that are leaving for various other reasons, or they're taking breaks. But content creators are starting to question if, I guess, growing bigger and bigger is a good thing. Of course, you want the YouTube fame. Of course, you want the ad revenue and the monetization and all that. But sometimes, if you think about how things were when you're starting out and you're fresh and you're hungry and you're making content because it's something that you want to do, you're not concerned about making money to pay a team of editors. You're not concerned about making money to pay for rent of a studio. You're not concerned about, I need to keep up my algorithm and my analytics because if I lose this much views a month, I'm screwed and the channel dies. If you're building content, and this is one thing I could tell smaller creators if you're just now starting out, just build it. If you build it, they will come. And keep your eyes on the prize. When you start to think about other things and start to run before you can crawl, you might build up too quickly, and then you'll end up having a channel that is struggling later on. Trust me, for firsthand experience, you might find a way to where you're like, yeah, I'm in a rut. I'm burnt out. You don't know what to do. You're constantly changing your content. Like, I do that at least once a year. Last year, I tried to go more of with like talking about anti-wokeness, and I burnt myself from that just because so much of the stories were so negative. And dealing with people that didn't like what I was doing, it was so negative that I felt like I had this negative cloud over me that I was just like, dude, you can't please anybody. You get one side that likes it, one side that doesn't. And even with gaming, it's the same way. It's like, you got to tune that out. You got to learn how to tune out the negativity and stuff because it will eat you up. And this was the best year I've ever had on my channel. I had like 3.7 million views. I never had that in any year of my life on YouTube. And I still felt burnt out from it because it will get to you guys. So you have to find balance, right? You got to figure out how to make videos that people like while also making sure that you're doing what you enjoy. And of course, there's going to be people that want a certain type of content. I've seen people recently talking about controversial topics like the Gerard the Completionist situation, and they're going constantly making that content, and it seems like it's taking over their channels. That's an example of feeding what people want to talk about, what they're trending about. And I've done that in the past with certain topics. like in regards to the whole Bud Light stuff a year ago. And eventually it starts to wear you out mentally. Yeah, you're doing what the people want to watch and listen to and stuff, but you need to find a weird balance between that and what you like. And, sometimes it might not hit what you like, people might not care about. And I could see where, where MattPat might feel like a lot of stuff that he's doing because he's split between several channels might burn you out. And he's not the only content creator out there that's done that. There's other people out there that have changed. I think like Papa Meat and a couple other guys. Boogie made a great fucking video about the same topic earlier today, by the way, if you guys want to go check that out. And usually like at the start of the year, that's when you have people change, I guess, their content strategies and things like that, where they are trying to actually switch things up a little bit. And again, like I've been guilty of it in the past, but MattPat had a great story on his YouTube tenure. And I know a lot of you guys, whether you like a content creator or not, that's not the point. The point is he had a great hustle. He was one of my inspirations. I met him. He was a good guy. And I think sometimes knowing when to quit or knowing when to step down for your well-being is admirable. Me, I'm not going to quit YouTube. I don't see this as something that I do full time. I don't see it as something that's a job replacement. I've constantly had jobs while I've been on YouTube, and I've constantly always treated this like something that's complementary to what I'm actually doing and what my goals are in real life, which there's a variety of different things that I do. I got my thumb in a little bit of everything, but I've always liked making this stuff. I've always enjoyed creating content for you guys, and hearing you guys in the comments and in my live streams or meeting you guys at conventions is awesome. Again, I've always been grateful for every little thing that I've had, every little opportunity, like writing my book recently, which thank you everybody who's purchased one and everybody that's picked up one in person with me and asked me to sign it, doing the Adventures in Game Chasing movie, actually doing the handful of movies that I've been a part of, even if it's smaller cameo roles or whatever. It's all because of this and going to E3 and different conventions and meeting people. And that's just that. The YouTube side's one thing. My wrestling side is another. I've gotten to wrestle like Rikishi, Hacksaw, Jerry Lawler, Abyss, Marty Jannetty. I've wrestled all over the United States the last 22 years. And, I've had my hand in a little bit of everything, but YouTube is something that I'll always enjoy doing ever since I first got onto this platform and discovered content creators. Like Gaming Historian was like one of the first channels I ever watched. And he reminds me a lot of MattPat as well. And he's had burnout in the past where he's taken a few years off. And sometimes that's what you really need to do. So it's good to take breaks, guys. And I felt that way too. So MattPat, I think this is a perfect guide for YouTubers, teaching yourself to enjoy making the content that you want, not just worry about getting views, because he could just continue business as usual, not voice how he feels, and seeing his emotional side, that really made him feel more relatable, because we've all been there, guys, no matter how big or small you are as a content creator. So let's work on this year being the best that we can. Let's work this year, 2024, learning that balance and stuff. And that's the goal with my channel as well. So I'm not quitting. And I even thought about doing a little bit of a clickbait on this video, like hey guys, I'm quitting YouTube as a clickbait, but I'm not. I went ahead and just made it MattPat's leaving. What can we learn from it? Because we can learn a lot from it. And I know there's a lot of people out there that can't even stand the side of me or my content. That's great, because honestly, I don't care. That's not going to affect me none. It never will. Yeah, burnout happens. Mental blocks, self-doubt, imposter syndrome. It all hits all of us, guys. And the best thing that you could do is just keep pressing and change. Or, if you need a hangout, if you need a talk or whatever, just do it. Switch it. Don't get caught up in the hubbub, especially if you're not like a huge production. You know what I mean? And when the guys that are big, like the MattPats, when they're struggling, that only kind of helps inspire you, like, us smaller creators, to learn when to make changes and adapt as well. So My message to MattPat, congrats on all the work. I hope this break, this much needed retirement away from YouTube, helps you feel a lot better mentally. I hope you get some rest. I hope you get to enjoy the time with the family. And if you decide to come back, we will all be here. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts. I think this is a really interesting topic. Please leave a comment, smash the like button, and share this to somebody to help get it out there. If you know somebody that's a smaller creator, maybe this video will help them in some form or fashion. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. Take care.